All of you have witnessed art, whether it is amateur or professional, for pleasure or for necessity. Now I know that not all of you have seen a Rembrandt or a Warhol, but I do know that all of you have seen the kind of art created by the person I'm going to talk about today, the art of cooking. More specifically, the art of French cooking, written by the person I'm going to talk about, Julia Child. Julia Child once said, "Find something you're passionate about and keep tremendously interested in it." Now, I've always been passionate about the art of cooking, loving shows such as Good Eats and chefs such as Guy Fieri since I was little. Julia Child actually had her own television show, The French Chef, as I will show you on this video. Julia Child will also be forever remembered for her unique style, as seen on the spoof of Dan Aykroyd and the film of Julie and Julia. I'm going to talk about Julia Child's life. I'm also going to debunk the myth that she was a spy. I'm going to talk about her cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking. And finally, I'm going to talk about her legacy. Now, Julia Child's life might not seem extraordinary, but it really shaped the person she was, and by expansion, the way she cooked. Julia Child was born August 15th, 1912, in Pasadena, California. Her birth name was Julia McWilliams. She was the eldest of 3 children. The family accumulated significant wealth, so Julia lived a privileged childhood. She attended San Francisco's elite Catherine Branson School for Girls, where she was the tallest student at 6'2". According to biography.com, she was a lively prankster who was adventurous and athletic, with particular talents in golf, tennis, and small game hunting. In 1930, she attended Smith College to become a writer. However, none of her writings were published, so in 1941, at the onset of World War II, she moved to Washington, D.C. Julia Child worked for the Office of Strategic Services, or OSS. Even though she might not have introduced herself as Julia Child, she was an important part of the OSS, and the OSS was an important part of her life. At the onset of World War I, she wanted to volunteer her services to her country. Too tall to join the military, she volunteered her services to the Office of Strategic Services, the forerunner of today's Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA. She was one of 4,500 women who worked in the OSS. She worked in the Secret Intelligence Division as a research assistant, typing up thousands of names on a little white note card. This is essential to keep track of officers in the days before computers. She then worked in the OSS Emergency Sea Rescue Equipment section, helping to develop shark repellent for mines. She then worked overseas for her last 2 years in the OSS in Ceylon, present-day Sri Lanka, and Kunming, China, as chief of the OSS registry. She knew every incoming and outgoing message that passed through her office. During her time in the OSS, she met her husband, Paul Child, an OSS officer. The two married in September of 1946, and Paul was transferred to France in 1948, which is where Julia's culinary studies began at Le Cordon Bleu, one of France's best culinary schools. Julia Child's cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, is probably one of the things she is best known for. She and 2 other Le Cordon Bleu students collaborated on a 2-volume, 3-pound cookbook that was released in September of 1961. It was later called groundbreaking and remained the best-selling cookbook for 5 straight years after its publication. She promoted her book by making an omelet on air on the Boston Public Television station. She was then invited back to tape her own show for the cooking show for the network, initially earning $50 per show, which was later raised to $200 per show, plus expenses. Julia Child's legacy will live on as long as people will continue to cook. In 1993, she was the first woman inducted into the Culinary Institute Hall of Fame. In November of 2000, she received France's highest honor, the Légion d'honneur. In August of 2002, the Smithsonian Museum of American History unveiled an exhibit featuring a kitchen where she filmed 3 of her popular cooking shows. Julia Child died of kidney failure 2 days before her 92nd birthday, August 2004. Julia Child was a woman whose early life, time in the OSS, legacy, and cookbook forever shaped the way she cooked, and by expansion, the way everyone really cooks. There are many cooking shows on air today, all of which were indirectly or directly influenced by the late Julia Child. I would like to point out that she was just an ordinary woman who made an extraordinary example of how people can use their God-given skills. Though she may have passed away, she will live on. Through the dishes she inspired, she will live on. Through the people whose lives or stomachs she touched, she will live on. And through the knowledge I have given you, she will live on. Thank you.